Hey everybody, it's Megan Holly, and we're here for another episode of Taking Flight, and I'm super pumped about this one because I just want to speak directly to your heart today, and it's coming directly from my heart. So it stemmed off a conversation that I had recently with somebody, and the conversation started a little bit like this. How do you just make a choice to do something and do it? They were alluding to the fact that I just kind of sometimes have this way about me that I just like stand up and I'm like, I think I'm going to make this happen. Like, I think I'm going to have a podcast. I think I'm going to go back to dance class. I think I'm going to start a business. That was many years ago, but that was kind of how it was. And they were like, I don't get it. There's so many times I have thoughts and ideas of things I want to do, but I just hem and I haw and I overthink it. And most of the time I don't even work towards it. Or if I do, kind of half-ass it and then move along. And so it got me thinking, right? And this isn't the first time I've heard a similar sentiment with my nonprofit that one of my besties and I have. The same conversation came up with my father-in-law. And he's like, we all have like these ideas, but you just kind of act on it. And so my first thing that I answered back to these things is, because why not? What is the worst thing that could happen if you act on an idea or a thought or a goal, a dream, whatever the heck you want to call it? What happens if you just act on it and you just act on it? Like, that's literally all I kind of initially say back to those kind of questions. The thing is this: I am a calculated risk taker. I am a recovering perfectionist, rule follower, all the things. But what I am at the core is somebody who just understands that life is just, there's no right or wrong way to do it. There really isn't. I think I get that from my dad. He was a very free spirit, drove a motorcycle. He was just kind of like, life is life. Let's do this. And I think that's instilled in me somewhere like in the deep depth of my soul, because that's how I feel. And when it comes to starting my nonprofit with my bestie, when it came to starting my business, when I decided I'm going back to dance class at almost 40 years old, even though my back tells me I shouldn't because it's feeling the midlife life. I just am like, well, you know what? What's the worst that happens? And sometimes that sentiment of what's the worst that happens turns into, this is the best thing that has ever happened to me. And it's a beautiful thing. Now, I say all that, and it's a reminder that that doesn't mean that it's all just, rainbows and sunshine and all the things. But it means that when you just step into that just moment of, I'm just going to do this, and I don't really care what the other side of it looks like, there really is no failure in life. And if we can remind ourselves of that, we can have this breath of fresh air when it comes to saying, screw it, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm going to make the phone call. I'm going to get the LLC. I'm going to say no to that thing because I want to do that instead. Like, how freaking freeing is that? And as like, oh my gosh, my entire existence feels so nervous about this. Like, those things can exist together. And then the other side of it's like, oh yeah. And it's not even about believing in yourself. Like, don't even believe in yourself. Don't even. Like, that sounds like the opposite of what you might hear come out of my mouth. I get it. If you are a long time, just beautiful community member, you're like, wait, you just told me not to believe in myself, Megan? What are you talking about? How rude. But the thing is, it's not about belief. It's about action. It's about just doing it. Like, literally, there is no, if I can leave you with one thing on this episode and just like turn it off right now, like, okay, cut, here we go. It's like, take the action. If it is something that is keeping you up at night, it is something that you think about often, it is something that people tell you you're really good at, it is something that you feel some sort of way about, guarantee that there is something to be created out of it. And it might not be the exact thing that you initially think it's going to be or look like or feel like, but it might never get into some sort of fruition or come to life in some sort of way if you don't just take that action. So I don't believe you can do it. I know you can do it. Like, absolutely. 3,000%. I know you can do it. Whatever your it is. What is your it? Tell me in your comments, claim it right now. Tell me what it's going to be. Tell me what you're going to do, what you're going to take strides towards, you're going to gain momentum for. Let me know, because I do also believe that sometimes when we just get it out of our brains and say it out of our mouths or type it out of our fingers, in this case, I believe that that is kind of the ball rolling for whatever that beautiful idea is for you. This could be anything. So I'm speaking right to you. What is it? What have you been keeping on the back burner, shoving back, crunching down, just battling against, that just won't leave you alone? When I started my business in the fall of 2018, it had come off of not knowing when my next paycheck was coming in, where my next dollar was going to come from. And there was a part of me that just was like on Indeed.com, like, oh my gosh, I'll just find something similar to what I've been doing, right? But then the other part of me was like, no, there's something else here. This was not even on my bingo card of life. It was being an entrepreneur was not on my bingo card of life. I promise you that. Sometimes I still don't think it is, but here we are, whatever it is, 7 years later. And I'm here. I've did my little, those are things are so satisfying, by the way. Are they not the little daughters for bingo? I digress, but they're so good. But here I am saying I just took the idea of, well, maybe that is the direction that I need to go in. Maybe I am meant for that. Maybe there is more for me out there than what I thought. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know what it looked like. I surely can tell you I didn't know it was going to look like this. Not in a million years. But I said, here we go. And I found that I had people who were like, what are you doing? And I had people who were like, heck yeah. And I was in the middle going, oh my gosh, what is happening? Where am I going? Why am I doing this? Am I crazy? And I had to just continue down the line. So when I say I don't believe you can do it, but I know you can, it comes down to that exact sentiment that we have to kind of quiet out, dampen the world around us that's telling us that that's too hard, that you don't know how to do that, that doesn't feel stable or secure. That was a lot of what I got in the beginning. Like, who needs a photographer? That's not like essential to life, right? Especially in the very beginning, I was doing family and, kiddos and all the things. People are like, that's just an extra in life. It's not something that like is needed. What if nobody needs it? Or needs it enough that you can create a business? If I listened to that, I would not be where I am today, which has shapeshifted again and again and again. And when we dampen out the things that don't suit us. Now, I'm not saying don't take in good advice and sound thoughts that can help you figure out what is best for you, or not take too big of a risk that just doesn't suit you or help you in the long run. But what I am saying is the naysayers that are just naysaying to naysay, say that 3 times fast. Those people are coming out of their own fear of not being somewhere or someone that feels comfortable taking this kind of pathway, or this slightly calculated, but hey, let's see what happens risk. The other thing we need to do to kind of go from believing we can do it to knowing we can do it is research, put yourself in spaces and places. When I was moving into kind of the niches that I have moved into over the years of my business, kind of cultivating where I am now with the branding and the coaching and even having a podcast, it was continuously putting myself in places where people were doing things that were similar and felt good to me. And I was like, oh, that's the vibe. That's where my heart is led to. And when we do that, it's just like this beautiful thing that reminds us that we don't have to have all the answers. I sure as heck know that I have, feels like none of the answers sometimes. And that there are other people who also don't have all the answers, little bit of a quick side note. If there is somebody out there saying this is the only way to do something, or do this and this will happen in 5 days, right? I'm not saying that there aren't, kind of hacks and things that can help support things in a more succinct manner. But what I am saying is be careful when you are stepping into your power to do something that you've been scared of doing or you never thought possible. It could be easy to kind of fall into that trap of, oh, they have all the answers. Actually, going in and just getting real and just navigating with good support, good questions, and good conversation, we can get to the doing, the creating. So like, what is inside of you right now? What is it? And it doesn't have to be anything grand. Can I also kind of scale back for a second and remind you, it doesn't have to be that you go start a whole new empire or that you need to move to another country, or maybe it is. I don't know. I'm not telling you what it is that you are called to. But I'm also saying this can be on a smaller scale. For instance, like me getting back into dance classes, right? This conversation stemmed off of you just are like, hey, I'm going to do it, and I do it, right? And this last month, as I'm recording this anyways, I went to 20 dance classes in a month's time. Partially because there was a challenge going on, partially because I was in flow and feeling so good and seeing what my goal of getting more joy in my life, moving my body in my life, proving that because I'm almost 40, I have scoliosis, I've got, all these things. That isn't the only story that I have to have surrounding my body and movement and feeling good. I just did it. I just said, let's buck up and let's go. And the worst thing that could happen is that I go to these classes and it's not for me, or I'm not having fun and I'm not finding the joy I wanted, and then I just don't go. But spoiler alert, I'm having the best time of my life and I'm having so much fun. And I am learning that I'm able to actually support the things in my body and some of the issues that I have even better because I can understand my body differently now. And would I have known that before? When I first started this a few months ago, I would not have. I would not have. I was just like hell bent on being like, I want to do it. I'm going to give it a whirl. Let's go. Let's try it. Trial 2 weeks. Let's go. All that to say is this is the simplicity that we can bring into the life choices that we make, the career choices that we make, the health and wellness choices that we make. It is a beautiful thing when we take the power back and we go from belief to action. Oh, it's so good. I feel like I could talk about this forever. We don't need an hour long of me talking about getting sick of your own shit, but that's basically what happens to me is I get sick of my own stories, my own droning on about, well, I can't do this anymore. Or I shouldn't do that anymore. All the things. Have you ever gotten so sick of your own self that you're just like, oh, I'm going to do something about it? Or are you on the opposite side of it and you're so sick of it, but it's just defeated you? There is a way to climb right back up to the top and go, hey, hello, right? I'm still here. I'm still thinking about it and I'm still curious about it. So let's get curious. So I want to leave you with this episode with the feeling that, like, I'm feeling it in my body right now, that you are able to sense the things that are on your heart and that may need to be out into the world more. And when you allow them to just bubble up, right? And you can debunk like, oh, I'm not creative, so I can never do that. Or, oh, I don't know, I've just never been flexible, so I can never do that, right? Like, I'm just using things that are very kind of common for us to kind of fall into, especially as life goes on and we age or we hear these own stories about what something should look like, feel like, be like. How can you go, actually, I don't even know. I never even tested that theory. I never tried to be more flexible. I never tried to dabble in different things that make me feel more creative. Or if I have, I kind of half-heartedly did it. And I just assumed because I tried that medium or that thing, that because it wasn't quite the way I thought it was going to be, it wasn't for me. Even though there's umpteen other mediums and areas and spaces and places to test and try. So what's the trigger point for you? What's going to be that thing that kind of, I'm thinking of like a Nerf gun right now, or a squirt gun. And it's like, it kind of just locks and loads it right in. What's the thing that's going to just put that into play for you? And then you have the power to push the button and make the choice. I'm going to say it again. I don't believe you can. I know you can. Whatever it is. So when are you going to believe the same? When are you going to do the same, more importantly, for yourself? I want to know. Let me hear the beautiful things that you're bringing to life, or even just the simple little shifts that you've made for yourself to feel better in your mind, body, spirit, soul, whatever it is. Drop it in the comments. Come let me know on socials. I love hearing it and cheering you on and hyping you up, my friend. So find your belief, find your action, make them meet, and let's go. Let's do this.